Hey everybody, thanks for joining me on my YouTube station. I want to tell you a little bit of a story. Last November, I weighed 256 pounds. And on about the 15th of November, right before Thanksgiving, I tested positive for COVID. My wife tested positive the next day. Within 3 days, she's up walking around. I was totally wiped out. For 2 weeks, I was in bed. I could barely eat. I could barely keep food down. I didn't know if I was going to make it or not. It took me a month afterwards just to be able to walk around the block. I had so little energy. But while I was laying there, I decided to make some lifestyle changes. I lost 15 pounds in those first 2 weeks. And I thought, 256? Maybe I should try to go a little bit lower. I'm only 5'10". So these are some of the changes that I made in my life that I would just recommend to you. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a food specialist. I'm just telling you that these are things that worked for me. So the first thing I did, I got rid of all additional sugars. Look at the back of all those food products and see how much additional sugar is added. It's a lot. So I did away with all additional sugars. I did away with a lot of the highly refined breads and grains and that kind of stuff. I also tried not to eat after 8 o'clock and tried not to eat before 9 o'clock the next morning. So I had about 12, 13, 14 hours of what they call intermittent fasting. I would just call it maybe calorie reduction, probably more so. But I was always full, and I think that's the key to the success that I continue to have. Here we are in the end of July, and I've kept all that weight off. I've leveled out. I've added a few things to my diet. I have added some rice. I've added some sourdough bread. I have added some dark chocolate. But there are 10 things that I really want to highlight that made a difference that are very much part of my diet today. And the first is monk's fruit. Man, this stuff is a substitute for sugar. From what I understand, it doesn't cause insulin resistant. It doesn't make your sugar levels explode, and it tastes great, and I highly recommend it. Now I do this, and I don't have any proof to know whether moringa is really great for you or not, but they say it gives you more energy. They say it boosts up your system. I do it. I put it in my tea. I blend it around. It doesn't really have a lot of taste, but hey, if it's good for you, I give it a shot. Something I love is almond butter. Now, I know when you think almond butter, that's a lot of calories, a lot of fat. Yeah, it is, but you know what? It's very filling, and it tastes really good. And then talk about olives. I love olives. I'll have olives with almost every meal, and I will also have olive oil. I prepare everything now in olive oil. It is a staple. I have these great big liter cans of it because I use so much of it. Now, I'm told that apple cider vinegar is kind of the traveling med show medicine, meaning it's the cure-all for everything. Well, I don't know. Maybe once a week I'll have some cinnamon and apple cider vinegar with ice. I mix it all up really well. It actually tastes pretty good, and they say it reduces appetite. They say it helps with your stomach, with all the microbiome whatever that goes on inside you. But I don't know. Once a week I think is a good dose. So I said I cut out a lot of the refined foods, but I went with steel cut oats. Takes a little while to cook them, prepare them. Usually cook them the night before. I put cinnamon in there. I put nuts in there. I put blueberries in there. Put them in the refrigerator the next morning. I pull it out. I put some almond milk on it. I'll eat it cold. Sometimes I'll heat it up. Either way, tastes great, and it is so filling. Now, one of the big staples that I'm into right now is salmon. I probably eat a couple pounds of salmon a week. And this is, of course, the wild caught salmon. and it is just out of this world. I love it. I prepare it almost like a stew. I do it with tomatoes, with lemons. I chop it all up. I put celery in there. I put onions in there. And, I don't really like salmon by itself, but when you make it into a stew, man, it tastes great. Now, fruit. At first, people said, don't eat a lot of fruit. There's a lot of fructose in it. But you know what I found? Fruit is awfully good. And at first, I didn't eat a lot of fruit. I found that I've added a lot of fruit to my diet now. And you know what? I haven't gained any weight back. So I eat a lot of blueberries. I like to put the blueberries in the blender, mix them up with maybe some almond milk and ice and maybe a little monk's fruit. I eat some watermelon. I eat peaches. I try to eat different kind of fruit as we go along. So I don't just eat blueberries. Maybe tonight I'll have a kiwi, and tomorrow I might have strawberries, and then maybe blueberries. Maybe we'll go get a watermelon, have some watermelon. Either way, fruit, I love it. Great part of the diet. And with fruit also come vegetables. We eat a lot of cucumbers and tomatoes with olive oil on it. So a lot of vegetables cooked. We like the vegetables. And finally, one of the snacks that I love are the unsalted deluxe mixed nuts. It's not, I don't think if you just eat the same nut over and over again that you get all the nutrients that all these nuts have to offer. Plus you get kind of tired of one particular nut. So I love the mixed nuts. And I go with the unsalted, just not to add additional salt to my diet. So here are 10 things that changed my life and are now part of my life to help me keep my weight down. And I would just like to share those with you, and I hope that some of you may try them. Again, it's nuts, it's fruits and vegetables, it's wild salmon, it's steel-cut oats, it's white apple cider vinegar, it's olive oil. And when you talk about olive oil, we're talking about the first cold pressed. We're talking about real olive oil and extra virgin. Olives as a snack. Almond butter. I do like to put the almond butter with the steel-cut oats. It's very tasty. The moringa powder, and my very favorite of this whole list, the monk's fruit. So, I hope the best of luck to all of you, and I hope you can figure out what works for you.